Good morning, students, and welcome back. In this module, we are going to continue with this chapter Weather and Climate. So, today we are going to learn the next key element of atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure is also known as barometric pressure. In short, we can also say that the pressure within the atmosphere of the earth is called atmospheric. As it is given in your book, the air pressure is greater at the sea level, and as we go towards the altitude, it starts decreasing. As the altitude increase, that means the height increase, the air pressure decrease. The next point, cool air is much denser and they exerts high pressure, while the hot air is less dense and exerts low pressure. Generally, the air pressure reading is taken every day at a specified time. The record of these readings are kept for years and the average is taken out. Generally, if any place is having the same atmospheric pressure, when reduced to the sea level, the lines are drawn on the map are called isobars, and they help us to know the different areas and the different pressure it exerts. Atmospheric pressure is measured in millibars. The normal atmospheric pressure is 113 millibars. So we can use two instruments to measure the atmospheric pressure, that is mercury barometer and aneroid barometer. So the first one is the mercury barometer. It is a very simplest barometer, but it is very large and it is very difficult to carry everywhere, because you can see the long glass tube which is 85 centimeter long. It has to be screwed on a brass strip. Actually, this barometer is a revised version of Fortin barometer. It has the tube is dipped in a container full of mercury, and the scales are inscribed on the sides. The direct readings can be taken with the help of the millibars, and this particular instrument gives us a very accurate and precise recordings. Recordings can be done with the help of this instrument. So the only disadvantage of this mercury parameter is that we cannot carry it to all place. So the next one is aneroid barometer. Aneroid means without liquid. The barometer is most commonly used nowadays, but it does not gives us the accurate recording as the mercury barometer, because it has a metal box which has partial vacuum in it, and that the box is very sensitive to the variation of air pressure. It immediately expands in the low pressure and compressed in the high pressure. The pointer connected to the box move over the scale to indicate the atmospheric pressure. The aneroid barometer is used in biograph and also in constant recording of the pressure changes. So the next key element of weather is rainfall. So precipitation comes down on the earth in various forms, that is rainfall, snow, hail and sheet. So in order to measure the precipitation, we use different types of instruments, one of which is called rain gauge. So what is a rain gauge? A rain gauge is a tool which is used to measure the amount of rainfall. It consists of thick copper or plastic cylinder which is fitted inside it on the top. The copper container or a glass bottle is kept at the bottom of the cylinder. The rainfall, hail or snow all gets collected in the small container, and the container does not allow the rainfall to evaporate. The cycle is emptied in a measuring cylinder and the reading is taken. The amount of rainfall is measured in millimeters, centimeters or inches. A rain gauge is generally kept in an open space and are always kept away from the shade of the tree or a building. A centimeter of rainfall means amount of water that it would have covered on the ground to the depth of 1 centimeter if it was not drained or evaporated. The next key element is humidity. The amount of water vapor present in the atmosphere is called humidity. Humidity plays a very important part on the weather. It generally varies from time to time and place to place. Humidity can be measured into two ways, that is absolute humidity and relative humidity. The first one, the absolute humidity, is the actual amount of water vapor present in the air and it is always measured in gram per cubic meter. So the next one is relative humidity. It is the ratio between the actual amount of water vapor present in the air and the total amount of water vapor the air can hold at a given temperature. In order to measure the relative humidity, we use an instrument that is called hygrometer. Hygrometer is kept in the Stephenson screen that we have already read earlier, and it consists of wet and a dry thermometer bulb, and that wet bulb thermometer has wet muslin cloth wrapped around it, which always remain dipped in a distilled water. So now we will see how the readings are recorded in hygrometer. For example, dry hot air is equals to more evaporation, that is equals to greater difference in reading between the two thermometers. That means it has low relative humidity. Now if the air is moist, that means it will have less evaporation. Then there will be a small difference in the reading between the two thermometers. That means the humidity will be high relative humidity. When both the thermometers are showing the same reading, that means the air is saturated, which is equals to 100% humidity. Children, this was all about this module. Thank you.